Hello, and welcome to Marie's World of Writing, and welcome to my first official live event of 2022. I am so excited for this year and all of the amazing things that are going to be coming, and I am also so excited that we get to kick off this year with an interview with Deborah Hawkins, who goes over gratitude meditation. And as far as everything in life goes, and everything in life that I have done personally comes from approaching everything with a gratitude mindset. So I really am excited about the opportunity to have her on as a guest here today. So we're going to go through this amazing little dance of inviting her to join as I do this. And hopefully she will be joining us now. Oh, there she is.
Great, thank you.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I am so honored to have you on the show. And it's 5 o'clock here in San Diego time. So I'm having a cocktail as
Good for you.
Yes. As you have also, I recently did Drinking with the Authors, and I was like, why have I not been doing this for every podcast? It just makes things so much more fun. But that in and of itself said, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your platform?
Sure. I've been blogging for over 11 years. Basically, I started a blog on gratitude and mindfulness as a way to work myself out of depression. I was at a very low point in my life in my early 50s, and I thought it would be good for me to have positives to think about. I was also a writer who wasn't writing, and that was depressing.
Yeah.
So having this blog gave me a platform for having something, a reason to write.
Yeah.
So between having a focus on positive things and a reason to write every week, it lifted my spirits. But then I looked at what I wrote a little bit more, and I found like some similarities. I exercised mindfulness in my own way to understand some of the things that really added meaning or convenience or just was fun. And it added to my life. And I started like asking myself questions about what was really the essence of why those things made me feel good.
Yeah.
And instead of writing like a list of things, to me, that's like taking inventory. It doesn't really connect with my feelings. So rather than write 15 things every night, if I would write about one thing a week, but really got into it and felt deeply appreciative and really understood why, it really had a deeper effect on me.
I love that. I genuinely appreciate the impact that such a mindset can have on your life and how you can get to that point. Can you tell me, when you got there, was there a specific inspiration for you when you were like, you know what, I need to change my mindset? Did you look to other readings, or how did you come across this like new path?
Well, I was pretty much at rock bottom.
Yeah.
I moved to another town to try to jumpstart a career, which wasn't happening. And I moved back because my career change didn't pan out. And then I had a car accident and I couldn't walk for a couple months.
Oh.
And a lot of things just went bad. And I said, I can't go on like this. I wasn't suicidal, but I couldn't imagine how I could keep going at this in this mindset. So I knew that gratitude was powerful, but then I had to find a way that made it authentic and genuine to me.
Yes.
I talk about gratitude a lot in terms of other models that don't feel right to me. And like one is like when parents say you should be grateful for something.
Yes.
Yes.
It's like when I'm 65 now, and years ago, if a kid didn't eat their dinner, their parents would say, there's kids in China that are starving for this. And I
Yeah.
go, that didn't make me feel good. I just felt bad for the kids in China or wherever. So it's like, I've looked at other methods of gratitude, like there's some very strongly religious people, and that's wonderful to derive gratitude from whatever, but it has to really be authentic to you. So
I love what
I
you're
developed
saying
my
there.
own kind of way of doing it.
Yes. And I think that that's the key. Like when it comes to this mindfulness and this gratitude, like state of being, it does have to be something that you come to a point in your life where you're like, this is important to me and I'm going to create it. Like I'm going to redefine what it means to be happy in my own universe. Because
Right.
everyone comes to rock bottom from a different place. Like we don't all catapult down with the same psyche and the same experience. But we do, it seems like that is a universal thing, right? Like everyone has shit in their life that just brings them to a point where they're like, I can't do this anymore. And I genuinely believe that coming out of that and digging your way out of the hole is finally recognizing that what I have and all of these no small things, like these, whatever ordinary event is happening in my life is extraordinary. This little thing that I just witnessed on the street is a miracle. When you finally see life through that lens, you just take on a whole different personality. And
Right.
that is the most powerful message ever. And I love that that is your purpose and your platform and what you're coming at with the world to try and like get people to believe. So I'm so proud of you for doing this. How long did it take you from, day one where you're like, oh my God, I'm at my worst, to I'm writing books and I'm channeling this and I'm trying to send a message out into the world that like you can survive this? What was the time span?
It's like I didn't think about what I was doing or the big effect on me right away. It was like very incremental. So I tell people, a lot of people want like a quick fix. They want to feel better right away. It's like, I don't think if you want a lasting change to get a quick fix, you have to like examine what will work. And I know I've quoted him before. There was a Benedictine monk named David Sendelrast.
Okay.
And Oprah interviewed him and he gave a famous TED talk years ago. And he said, if you want to be happy, be grateful. And it's like, we all want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Or most people do. And even if they don't, they derive a certain pleasure from their misery. So
Yeah. Oh my God.
I think
so masochistic mindset, the
right.
opposite of this.
So I think all people want to be happy, but it's like it's really hard to keep happiness as like a state of bliss, as a high, because you often don't know you're there till much after it happened. You have that experience, or you like sabotage it because you're afraid it's not going to last. So I really think the best thing is to understand what makes you feel pleasure, ease, authentic to yourself, basically uplifted, what you can be grateful for, and learn how to bring yourself back to that state. That's much more reliable than, zip gliding or, whatever you might do for a quick fix, jolt of good feelings. Knowing how to get back to that state of gratitude is like everything. And even though I found my own method and I want to share it with other people, because even though what they might be grateful for is very different than what I may be grateful for. I believe that if anybody learns what their personal gratitude themes are and then practicing them in the world that is, they're going to have a more positive mindset.
Absolutely. And one of the things, I actually was speaking with another person about this not too long ago, but when it comes to having maybe a revelation or some kind of like a vast change in mindset where you start seeing the world differently and you start focusing on meditation and like redefining your own spirituality, I feel like there's this common misconception that we all need to like hire a guru and fly to India and do the eat, pray, love thing. Like, but that is so wrong. We need to like really kill that belief and just be like, you know what, this is you. If you want to have a spiritual revelation, you can walk out into your backyard, you can pick up a book on Amazon. All you need to do is look inside, and that's it. Like, super simple.
It's easy, yes. It's funny, I've been doing this book tour this past week, and a blogger tour, and I'm looking at some of the comments about reviews that have been up, and a lot of people have said, I can't meditate. I've tried it.
Yeah.
I don't do that. And I say, you don't have to meditate to appreciate.
Yeah.
And I think really that's like the fundamental truth. Like saying thank you is like praying.
Yes.
So you don't have to like sit in a dark room. I certainly can't quiet my mind all the time. I do sometimes, but I don't do it like every day for a half hour or something. And just getting quiet enough to know what I think and feel and what feels good, and paying attention to those things, and by deliberate intention, working on the things that are building on the things that feel good, that don't hurt anybody, is really most of what I espouse, what I want to do. I know you asked about whether there were influences.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was like one specific writer, but there was a quote by Eckhart Tolle that is very important to me.
Okay.
He said, acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. So my practice is about understanding what feels like abundant for you personally, and practicing seeing those things in reality in the world that is. So like I have my method, I teach a course in how to like boil some past experiences into their essence, so you could find what your personal gratitude themes are. So let's say mine are belonging, or some are self-appreciation, or beauty, or neighborhood discoveries. One of the things I'm really happy about that I see in lots of things that I'm grateful for is how close something is to me. That I go to a farmer's market, or I could go to a movie theater, you know, back when people actually watch movies in public. Those little things are like so amazing on their own, but they're extra amazing to me because of how close and how easy it is to have that experience. So I am really mindful to examine when I feel good and try to understand the essence of that experience, and identify in the moment, in any moment, if any of those things are showing up.
It's so important, and I love the way that you say that, because it's like, what brings me to life? We live in a culture and in a time where everyone is told, this is what makes you happy. You need this this thing. You need to look this way. These are all of the things that we're going to give you this faux happiness. And the fact of the matter is, if we just like put on our blinders, shut everything up, walked outside, breathed some fresh air and said, okay, if nothing else was going on around me, what do I want? What inside here is going to be its happiest if I'm doing that? And Eckhart Tolle has something too that he says, you know, when you're doing your life's work, when you're fulfilling your life's purpose, you're not working, you're breathing. You're literally just, everything around you quiets, and you just come to this sense of like total one with the universe, one with your surroundings. And I do genuinely believe that every person has that inside of them. Like, you will know when you are obeying everything that is true to yourself, but you have to shut off all of this stuff. And how do you have recommendations for people for like, how do you filter and how do you access this?
I look at it differently in that instead of saying not this, like this is a distraction, I have to shut off my social media feed, or I have to like get away from this. I don't think about what it is not. I think about what it is. I think that nobody could hold two thoughts in their head at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you just focus on, if something crosses your mind that gives you joy, or you know that you resonate with this, that I recommend just practicing, focusing on it.
Yeah.
And even if your mind goes away to something else, come back to that thing that you know builds you up. Like, a way to be unhappy is to think about what you don't want.
Yeah.
I don't want this. I don't want like this, tell the salesman to call me. I don't want interruptions, whatever. And the more you think about what you don't want, the harder it is to just go with the flow and be happy. So I believe that instead of trying to like think about how to get rid of distractions, they will naturally fall away when you focus on the things that bring you joy.
You know, you said another thing that I think is really beautiful. It has to feel genuine. Like early on, you know, you're like, I needed to genuinely believe that everything was what I wanted, and to genuinely believe that I didn't want for these things. And I do think that that is, it's a process. It's not going to be one day I start this and then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be a new person. I mean, going from wanting and seeing all of these things, and then all of a sudden getting the mindset of, yes, I genuinely am good enough. You know, the steps along that path, it's almost like an unbecoming, right? Like, have you seen, or does anyone have like this is phase one, this is phase two? Because this to me almost seems like like a grieving process where you die to yourself and you wake up someday down the future as like a person who has recognized that life is different.
I think that there's not one story for everybody. So I think some people have to hit rock bottom. They have to like say, I can't do this anymore. Because our tendency, we have so much invested in our ego that wants to like repair the system that got us this far and repair it enough to keep going somehow. So that's kind of the natural tendency.
Yeah.
And other people just realize that they need a little tweak here and there. I grew up with especially low self-esteem, and I had different problems. I didn't think people would listen to me. I didn't think a lot of things that really would be healthy. And I really had to fall apart before I started coming back together. And I didn't feel a change immediately. I really, this is another place that mindfulness comes in. I have two practices now where I actually write lists, and it's not about gratitude. I write a list of 5 things that I want to acknowledge myself for. So I might like start a list and say, I acknowledge myself for getting on Instagram Live.
Yes.
You
Oh my
know,
gosh. If anybody knew how much work it took to get you here, like that in and of itself was
I'm
like
just
a life
learning. I'm
accomplishment.
just learning these things. So I would actually acknowledge myself for making progress. And I acknowledge myself when I think I'm getting like a message from God or my higher self or whatever, and I'm doing something, I'm responding to it. So I acknowledge myself for little things, little steps that I think are like progress. I also have become in the habit of saying, thinking about how the world is encouraging me. And
Yeah.
it also is takes a little examination and practice. It might be like a call you made 3 months ago. Well, somebody's calling back, and it's like, oh, they didn't forget.
Yes.
They're out there. Things are happening that I might not be involved in directly right now. And that's all working out for my good. And that's good to remember that things are happening, and I'm being encouraged by life. So I try to pay attention to those things too.
That is huge. It's so huge. Whenever I mean, I encourage everyone, if you have a day, go back and reflect on it and look at all of those little moments because life is encouraging you all of the time. I genuinely believe in this. And if you just start tracing the dots, like there are so many miracles and so many things leading you to exactly where you are right now. And it's not just the success and win, win, win. Like those failures, the freaking rock you tripped over, the day you hit your head, all of it brought you to where you are. And I think that's the most important part about the gratitude mindset. You don't just be happy for finding $10 bill. You be happy for, I'm sorry to say this is a severity, but you be happy for like the worst thing that happened in your life. Be happy for that because it made you who you are. The struggles that you survive also give you what like the tools you need to move on to the next level. And until you unpack that and like let it be and literally just rest in the gratitude of thank you. Thank you for giving me this pain so that I can take it and become a better person. You can't become a better person if you rest in hate and anger and just like never let it go. So I love this.
I think that's important, but I don't think that while we do that, our focus is on those bigger issues or our karma or spiritual issues. We just want to get through the day. We just want to be happy. We just want to live our lives. And even though I will look in retrospect and decide that something that was disappointing had positive effects on me, I don't normally think about that. But I do want to pay attention to what I have control over. So I think it might not be reasonable for many people to like really see a difficult thing in a positive way while it's happening.
Especially while it's
that's
happening.
a big, right? That's a big ask. But if people can notice that while things are difficult, there is still joy.
Yeah.
Like I've encountered a lot of people that have been really put off by COVID. You know, it's been so restrictive. The world is different and all this stuff. And I go, well, I don't have children. I don't have a family to worry about. I have a much different situation than a lot of people that have to worry about feeding like a family and other things. So I don't have that kind of responsibility. But I've learned that amid all this loss and all this grieving, I could still like to listen to music. Like I'm not happy. I'm not thinking about, oh boy, I'm growing a lot. This
Yeah.
is so hard. I'm growing a lot. This is great. I'm not trying to convince myself of all the difficulties I've overcome. I'm just really aware and grateful that while something is challenging, there are still joys in my life. And I really think that people that are going through grieving or challenges, if they kind of, it's hard not to like dwell on them because they seem so huge at the time. But remember that while you were going through this, you could still have a wonderful dinner. You could still have a great talk with a friend. There are
Mm-hmm.
still things in life that deserve attention.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
to the extent that we could give some of those positive things attention by deliberation, by our deliberateness, by intention, we make ourselves more open to receive positive things.
It's beautiful. It's so true. So at this point, like what is next for you? You know, you've got, is it two books, and the Best of No Small Things is your last, is it 10 years worth of blog posts all in one?
No, I post almost every week.
Okay.
So I have like 500 posts or something. So, and I still um, post every week as a practice. So the book actually came out in at the very end in December of 2019.
Okay.
So like January of 2020. And it was very difficult to promote
Oh
because
yeah.
of COVID, because
Yep.
I couldn't go out to libraries or do a lot of the things that you would normally do. But I'm doing some of that now. I also lead, I'm doing some free talks every month on bringing mindfulness into your life. So this month's talk is about writing a love letter to yourself.
Oh, very
I
nice.
believe that till we have self-love, we can't really entertain romantic love or other types of love very well. Anyway, I'm doing these free talks. It's all on my website. And I do regular classes called Helium for the Heart.
Okay.
Elevate your outlook with intentional gratitude. So I want to keep doing these classes and get more attention. In terms of writing, I have a couple thoughts about what I'd like to do. I do hope next year that I will actually do another book collection of blog posts. I think the subtitle is going to be It's a Wonderful Life,
Oh, I like it.
because I actually wrote a blog post recently about the movie It's a Wonderful Life. So many people around Christmas time like to watch this movie over and over again. And they go,
Yes.
well, to me, it's not just about like wanting family or whatever. It's a Wonderful Life because Jimmy Stewart's character really wanted those things. It's a wonderful life if you fill yours with whatever you want, and it's up to you.
Absolutely.
So I've given thought to another collection, and I also want to write a book about photography. That
Oh,
photography really is a wonderful chance to to know yourself.
oh
So
yeah.
I'm not recommending this. I'm not claiming to be amateur photographer or anything, but I use photography often to start uncovering what is below the surface.
Mm-hmm.
So I journal a lot and I'm very verbal. And I realize that some people aren't. And they need something to maybe get them going.
Yeah.
To reflect about what is what is underlying their how they live, their choices. And I think photography could be a wonderful way to get to the things that we don't think about. So I want to write about that.
I think that's a beautiful topic. I genuinely love the combination of the two because I that's how I operate as well. I used to pair, you know, photographs that I had taken with things that I had written because it just you see an image, you see a place, and it will just elicit a whole story. You know, sometimes you just see a flight of stairs and like everything, you know, all of this stuff comes to mind, and that's where amazing photography can really tell a whole story. So being able to write about that, and I mean, no offense, but if that's what you're doing with photography, you can own the title of amateur photographer right there. Like I am conferring it upon you. If there's a little hat, I'm giving it to you. You just got it, okay?
One of my gratitude themes is surprise. And I know some people, I just got a text here. So
Oh
sorry.
no, that happens to me all the time, and I'm like, how do I pretend like I'm not seeing this?
So I know some people really like to be in control, and they would have different themes. But I really appreciate being in a state of surprise, because even though I think I want to be in control, I'm usually the happiest when I give it up.
Yeah.
And I think it's a sign of humility.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I really think that that's part of like letting good things in, is accepting and being open to things you didn't expect. They could be better than you could have expected. So it's really interesting for me. And this goes back to photography too, that some of the most wonderful things in a photograph are the things you didn't expect. They just show up.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I love that. Yes, that's
yeah,
why
it's very
photography is so
interesting.
good too. Like you're just, oh, I didn't even see that in this. Yep, yep. Well, so as far as the book, you have workshops. You have one of the best websites I have ever seen. I love the organization. Like if anybody wants to find out anything about you, if they go to your website, it's all there. Like I mean, where else would you direct people at this point in your career? Like all of the things that you offer, what else can we do to find you?
My website is still a work in progress. I'm trying to make the calendar page and the media page a little bit more user friendly, because I want to collect, actually, I want to collect readings of some of my blogs
Okay.
done by other people. I do
Oh,
one reading of a blog, and I would other people to read some of my blogs as a recording and put some of them up. They're about 5 minutes to read. It's perfect. And I'd like to put them up on the website too. So there's always things I'm trying to do, but I thought very much about how to present myself in the website. So Instagram, I'm not technical. So it's been, but I'm very involved in what I envision. So I invite people to go to the website to look at the archives and actually look by Grateful Dozen theme. And they could actually see some of my older blog posts. I'm still like in the process of updating some of my posts to include the photograph, because my original site did include having featured images, if you know what I'm talking about. So I have some work to do there, but like 11 years of posts are up on the website. So it's a wonderful way to read other stuff that I've written, and it costs nothing. There's also information about how to get my book. I could also say I have a Linktree account. My handle is Grateful Deb.
Perfect. All right. Well, I sincerely hope that everyone visits the website. And I also want to throw down a challenge now because, and I'm personally going to do this. I promise you, I will read a post and I'm going to post it on there. And if anyone else does that too, I'm going to think on this one because I would genuinely love to have a little challenge on that and get some more readings for you, because there's no greater like honor and like compliment than when somebody else reads your stuff and like genuinely puts their spin on it and says, this was important to me and I'm going to read it to you and I'm going to show you like with inflection in my voice and all of the things, like how I absorb the material. That is like a huge cool thing to do.
I never thought of this before till I was just talking to you that it's something I've wanted to do. I tried to get readers for a while and have not been able to, but there's actually on the media page, there's an example of me doing a reading for Chicago Literacy.
Okay.
So I was doing a reading at a charity event and I did a selection, and I'm not a reader or actress or anything like that, but I think, wow, this would be really great if I had like 8 or so readings of different blog posts that I wrote that meant things to the people reading them. That would be just a thrill for me.
Oh, I want this for you. I genuinely, I'm like, okay, I'm excited. This is something I would love to build towards. So we'll keep working on this. I'm going to throw some ideas around, but we are nearing the end of our time. I am so grateful for this time that we've gotten to spend together, and I'm so excited for your future. I hope you get to just keep growing your audience and growing your reach and your message. In closing, is there anything else that you want to leave us with?
I'm just so happy to be connected with you and connected with the other bloggers and podcasters. It's like this is a little bit of a new world for me, and I'm really appreciative of people that have been patient enough to introduce me to it.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Believe me, I am here because a friend did the same thing for me. I kept telling him, I'm like, no, Instagram. I'm like, I can't do this. And he's like, it's easy. He held my hand through it. And now a year later, here I am hosting interviews. So I can't wait to see where you are in a year.
Thank you. And I'm laughing that it's like being on a real estate TV show that I've gotten to see not only your downstairs, but another room of your house.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
And I really appreciate that you made it easy for me to have this conversation.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. It has been a wonderful way to start my evening. I'm going to go have a nightcap. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and that you are safe in this cold winter. I'm in San Diego.
Wouldn't let my dog out of my bedroom. I locked her up because she usually wants my attention late at night. But we'll have a good time. We'll take a walk.
I love it. Well, you guys enjoy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This post is going to go. I'm going to get it all wrapped up. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be everywhere. So I will get you a copy of it within the next few days. Thank you, everyone who tuned in.
Sounds good. Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Have a good night.
All right.